Hello, everyone. If you clicked on this today, I don't think this was an accident. I think some part of you is tired. Tired of feeling like no matter how hard you try to be a good woman, a good wife, a good mother, it's still not enough. Tired of carrying something that was handed to you a long time ago, before you even had the words for it. So before we even begin today, I want you to say something. The way you were loved was never proof of your worth. And I want you to repeat this with me because it was only proof of what the people who raised you had and what they didn't. And today, we're going to talk about the things almost nobody in our community wants to say out loud. We're going to talk about the wound that we have inherited and how it actually ends, because it can end with you and with me. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. And in this live today, feel free to comment. I'm here with a guest, which I will introduce in a minute. For those of you that don't know who I am and are new to this, I am Olga, and this is Unbreakable-You. I'm a healing and empowerment coach. I don't speak to you from textbooks. I speak to you as a woman who had been through 2 marriages, betrayal, abuse, the kind of nights that you don't think you'll survive, and who is still standing here, still rising. So when I talk about healing, I'm not just pointing at a map. I've actually walked that map and I'm ready to walk that map with you when you're ready. Last month, the whole month of June, if you're following me, we've covered love and relationships, but in terms of healing. And every year, we end love and relationship the same way. We're going to the roots because here's the truth. The way we love started long before our first heartbreak. It started in the house that we grew in. So, this is your bridge for the month of July, where I'll be covering parenting. And that is a great theme today because I started this week with You Are the Model. So, be like one because your children are not listening to what you say, they are watching who you are, which means that the healing that we do to ourselves is never just for us, it's for them. It's what they will inherit. And this is how we rewrite our past. So now I almost never bring someone on this page, but every once in a while I meet a woman who just makes me go, wow. And it's not easy to amaze me because I am a good speaker, I present well. So when someone amazes me, you really should pay close attention to it. She's a coach, a healer, a trainer, and she trained the way I am: hypnotherapy, neurolinguistic programming, in deep, deep work. She also survived 2 marriages on her own. She rebuilt her whole entire life, and she works with women who are exactly the same place that we were. When the two of us get together, trust me, it sparkles everywhere. So please help me welcome the powerhouse herself, Oksana Kats. Oksana, I am so happy you're here with me today. And before we go into all of this, I want you to tell us all a little bit about yourself, who you are, and the woman that you're working with.
Sure. Well, I'm honored to be here. And thank you for the invitation. I'm so grateful of my experience, my path, and where I am today. I'm a mother of the 4 beautiful children. Despite of the 2 marriages, I did gain a jewels as my children, who were the best teachers of my life. I'm also a grandmother of 7 grandkids.
Yeah,
I
amazing.
yes, thank you. And 10 years ago, about 10 years ago, my second marriage ended. It was very ugly. And I looked at the patterns and I said, well, first marriage, okay, I blamed him. The second marriage, okay, it's something I'm doing wrong. And instead of saying why, I said how. How am I here? Why am I here? How is this? How am I repeating the same pain, feeling the same pain? And that's when I dive deep into the self discovery, just understanding myself. What am I doing wrong? I've been going by the patterns of the book that my parents taught me to be a good wife and a good mother. I loved, I cherished, I nurtured. I provided, and something is not enough. And in my self discovery, I wasn't looking to become a therapist. I wasn't looking to heal others. I was looking to heal myself. And somewhere along the line, this work found me. And I understood that I'm not alone. There's so many people afraid to speak, afraid to ask. And that's how my journey started. Helping myself. I could proudly say that I helped my children, guided them. Thank God they have two good marriages, great, great kids. And I'm just a happy woman. Today, I could proudly say that I'm really happy where I am.
That is so amazing because I'm just trying to change so everybody sees both of us. Here you go. Because you and I have something in common, and not everyone is brave enough to put on a public page, right?
Yes.
Me and you
Yeah.
don't hide our pasts. I share mine all the time, my divorces, my lowest moments, the way I rebuild myself, because I have nothing to hide. My life is mine, and I've learned that the moment I stopped hiding, it is the moment I actually started helping people with whatever I was going through. And there is a line that I told someone just this last week, and it's became everything to me. If you want to be better than you are, you have to find someone who has already been where you are. Not
Absolutely.
someone who read about your pain, someone
Mhm.
who actually lived that pain.
Felt it.
So when we both speak, me and you both speak very openly about our past. You also had two marriages, you also had betrayal, the heart rebuilds. Why do you think being willing to be judged is the price of being able to help others?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't like that before. I hide. I was embarrassed. I was shamed because when you divorce, you automatically being labeled as broken. And there is nothing broken about us. We've stopped abuse. We stopped toxic. We stopped the neglect. And to be honest with you, I did everything that I thought I did for my children and for my husband. But at the end of the day, I was not enough. I was not seen. I was not heard. I was neglected. And I felt broken. I felt judged. But as I healed myself, I decided that's what I'm giving my children. They're seeing me being diffused, having no energy. And as perfect as I wanted to be as a mother, I became an imperfect in every level of our life, in my finances, in my health, in the relationship. Kids want to be a present mom, not a perfect mom. And the presence began when I started identifying who am I because I lost myself in a marriage. And a lot of women are afraid to speak, and a lot of women are afraid to change anything because they're thinking, I will do it for the kids. No.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why I start speaking out loud. I start saying out loud, I am against divorce. This is not something I'm proud. But at the same time, I'm also against living in a marriage and dying alone and letting the children see that this is okay because it's not okay.
Yeah. And honestly, for the women that are watching this, I hope you can feel the difference because going to just a therapist or someone you speak with, they speak with you. Me and Oksana actually speak at you because our scars are our credibility. We both have ton of certifications, but the biggest credibility is the life that we walked through. And that's exactly why this next part matters so much because in our community, choosing to speak can actually cost you something. And let's be honest about where we came from. In our community, the moment a woman is divorced, as you said, she's seen broken, not religious enough. And if she dares to start over, the judgments start. And people ask, who is she to help anyone if she's in that position? Where does she come from? And I see it every single day in the group that I run. And when I even coach couples, because I do coach couples, one couple told me, how can you coach if you're divorced? And believe it or not, yes, I can. and those couples are still together because it's a lot of dynamics that they just don't know about. I opened a group for women going through exactly the same storms that me and you, Oksana, have been through. I made it
Mhm.
completely free, and I usually charge for that. But then what happens is that these women go in and they're afraid to speak. So many of them are just afraid. They're afraid of being judged. They ask me endless number of times if anyone will know about this. And that fear, that's the thing that keeps women from ever starting to heal. Because in our community, especially, what makes a woman afraid to say out loud, I'm struggling, I left, I'm starting over, is the judgment. What do you think about it?
Absolutely, I agree with you. I also have two groups where it's also absolutely free. It's broadcasting on Sunday. Women that where I speak Russian because I want them to understand in Russian how we feel, how we think, the thought process. And on Tuesday evenings, it's for the young generation that married and struggling with relationships. So I see the dynamics is changing, and everyone wants to be perfect. Everyone loves to have the perfect picture. Optics. People want to show people that they have the best, but deep inside, they're dying. I'm letting them know no, there is an oxygen, there is a mask. You can start healing yourself. You can start asking questions. And a lot of people are so afraid just to open up their cameras because, God forbid, if anyone sees it, they will be judged. Honestly, when I felt the same, up until I discovered myself and I knew that my story will help another one, another woman, I didn't care that I'm being judged because there's nothing broken about asking question. We can be strong so much, but it's never enough. We have to be able to heal ourselves, identify ourselves, and tell the truth, at least to ourselves. And then everything else will change in the field.
Yeah. And if you're a woman that's watching us, the one that just sits in silence because you're so scared of what other people will say, and you just don't speak up because you don't feel worthy, I want you to know that you are, and type it in the chat so other women can say that you are worthy because you are. Before you fix a single thing, you need to know that you are worthy. Now, here's where it gets deeper because the judgment out there is so loud, but the wound under all of it is actually starting a lot closer to home. Oksana, when we first talked, you said something that stopped me. You said a person cannot have a healthy relationship, real peace, real success until they've separated in a healthy way from their parents. And I felt that in my bones because I lived it. And when you said that, my question to you is, what did you mean by separating?
Mhm. Well, this is number one thing I teach as we go forward with my clients, and I did it with myself and my children. Separating by the parents doesn't mean not speaking to them, doesn't mean ignoring them or loving them less. Emotional separation is stop being attached to them emotionally, proving them what you're doing is correct, waiting for them for acknowledgement. Healthy separation from your parents is becoming an adult for yourself, giving you the love that you need for yourself and the guidance that you need that you want for yourself. That's the healthy separation. Emotionally detachment.
Emotionally detached. And I'll tell on myself, right? Because
Mhm.
I won't ask you to go anywhere that I won't go. I have heard relationships with parents, and I have a very difficult relationship with my own mother. And for years, I've repeated her pattern actually without even knowing it. I lived a version of her life. I got divorced fast the first time, just like she did. I kept choosing the familiar, and it wasn't until I actually did that work that I could see that I was carrying her story as if it was actually mine. And in
Hmm.
Kabbalah, I just took it as my karma to pay for my mother. And the strange thing is, the more I healed, the more me and her clashed because
Mm.
I stopped taking what was never mine to carry. And when you say it doesn't mean detachment doesn't mean not speaking, sometimes that is the only solution. Sometimes
Well,
that is the only possible healing.
mm, well, what I mean by detaching, not speaking, no more fighting, no more telling your mom how good you are, no more waiting to be acknowledged, no more waiting to be loved, no more waiting to be hugged. And when you stop waiting, yes, sometimes once a week, or maybe not speaking for quiet sometimes, if it's a healing you won't,
Yeah,
it's okay. There's a lot of mothers out there that unhealthy relationships. And a lot of times we need to understand where we are in life
yeah,
because our first role in our life as a daughter. And if we daughters are broken, and most we are, we cannot be present mothers
yeah,
because there's a part of you is broken and needs to be loved, waiting to be loved, seeking to be loved, waiting for validation, waiting to be seen, waiting to be proud, and you doing as much as you can to show your mom, I got this. I can. Just look at me. And she can't see you because she cannot see herself.
right.
So
And
a lot
that,
of times detachment, yes, and not speaking, maybe it's healthier than fighting it and pushing it and showing it and proving it and failing it at the same time.
right. And that's what detachment is to me, because someone who doesn't work on themselves, in that case, the older generation just think they're so perfect. They don't see the things that they've been doing and they don't work on themselves to be better. And so, for someone who works on herself to make sure that my children don't go through the same patterns, that to make sure that my children get the best version of their mom, that separation for me means really full detachment. Otherwise, it just creates clashes, and a lot more uncomfortable situations. So, for the women that are watching, I want you to understand this is not about blaming our mothers. I am not blaming because she knew what she knew. She loved the only way she knew how to love. But the way that she is still is not the way that I am, and not the way I want to raise my children. So many of us were raised by women who hurt us, and they really meant well while they did it. They criticized us, and some of them still do. They compare us with others. Look at this one, look at that one. They couldn't see us. And if you ask them, they would say, "What do you mean? I was only trying to help you. I wanted to show you what's better for you." Because those moms are not monsters. There were women who were never loved the way they needed either. And you can't pour a love that you were never given. And really, that's a line that you said that I haven't stopped thinking about since me and you spoke. A mother's energy can heal you and kill you. That's how much that matters.
Absolutely. And the faster you separate from that energy, like you mentioned something that I want to add on, our upper generation, higher generation, they haven't been healed and they won't go into the healing.
Yeah,
Why? Because they're not immune to it. To them, healing is that means something is wrong with them and they
right,
don't feel anything wrong with them. This is why the Russian group I have and explain a lot so they understand not to kill themselves and not even understanding how the energy works. I speak a lot about energy. So we I've learned myself that everything is a mirror reflection.
yeah,
If me looking at my mother through the mirror as a child and I don't like what I see, and then I look as a mother to my daughter, she won't like what she sees. That's how energy works.
right,
What I do is I let my mom speak. I let my mom say, I just stopped fixing her. I
Yeah.
stopped changing her. And when you healed, you know exactly where everything is going. But I'm a daughter, I'm not a healer from my mom. And that's when I stopped myself. And the minute I stopped doing that, a lot have changed. I had to learn how to love my mother.
Mm.
I didn't know how to love my mom because I felt I was a love child. But when you speak to my mom, she says, "I love you all." It's four girls. It's four of us, four daughters she had. She said, "I love you all,"
Mm.
but I never felt it. So
Yeah.
I had to learn to love her myself and accept her for who she is because I knew deep inside she did her best as I did. I'm doing my best for my children. And that's when the
Right.
dynamic of the generation start changing.
So how do you hold both of these? Because these are two paradox, right? These are two opposite. They wounded us, not intentionally, but then we're saying that they were never taught how to actually love.
Right. When I had a conversation with my mom and I said, "Mom, just want to let you know, my daughter is repeating exactly what I'm doing." And I didn't know that I was repeating my mom mistakes because my mom was never divorced. She was hoping to leave him, but her mom never allowed her. So I said, why is I am the one that going through that broken? Like, why am I breaking that pattern? And when I started working with her, going to using my tools, I understood that her mother broke her. The
Mm.
way the way she was raised, she never received love. She
Yeah.
never seen love. So how can she give me something that she never had? And she was embarrassed to tell me that I'm repeating her mistakes because she didn't want to be a bad mom. So as soon as I understood that, and I said, I saw this broken little girl crying and
Yeah.
letting me know that she's doing her best. And I'm like, how can I blame her? That's when like a lot of things have changed. And
Well,
that's when I start changing the thought process.
this is very strong because now we're saying that both of these two things are true at the same time.
Absolutely.
She hurt you, but she was also hurting. And I'm saying that for my mother as well. And if you're watching, I'm sure you're resonating with some of it because you are allowed to grieve the mother that you needed and never got,
Absolutely.
while you just stop waiting for her to become that person now.
She
And
can't and she won't. That's when I understood. She can't and she shouldn't.
right,
We have two mothers in our minds. We have an actual mom and the mom that we wanted to be.
yeah,
And especially if your friends have a mom that loves and hugs and think and send the messages, and you're like thinking you can't even come to mom with your pain
yeah,
because she is in pain. But as
right,
soon as you start understanding your mom, the cheating come with the manual. She
yeah.
came what she knew best from her mother. And we're stopping the trauma on us because I don't want to give this to my daughter. This is where the self-discovery went in. And as soon as I understood that, I understood I have the best mom in the whole world.
And I love that you bring that because so many women that are hearing, listening to this, I hope that you understand that there's a difference between blaming her and finally understanding her. When we blame, we feel powerful, but it actually keeps us small. As long as I'm blaming my mother, I'm still her child, still waiting at the door for an apology that just probably will never come. But once I start understanding, that's different because understanding is the door out. And you taught me beautifully that we don't actually get a fix and we don't get to fix our mother or our father for that matter. We can only accept, say thank you, and
Gratitude.
detach, right?
Yes.
So to stand there and say, you gave me life, you came with your wounds, but I am not carrying your wounds anymore.
I
That
choose not to.
that's not coldness, that's actually freedom. And I want you to please explain in your own words, why does understanding her actually sets you free.
When you blame, you're stuck in the past. You not looking in your future and you're suffering. When you suffer, believe it or not, no matter how cold mom is, she suffers inside as well. But when you understand, when you accept, not even so much understanding, when you accept and when you gratitude, you tell them, thank you for the life I have. I choose to move forward, healing myself and understanding how I want to be different. Not why, but how. A lot of times when I ask women, how do you see your life? They can't even come up with an answer. How?
Hmm.
Because they're so stuck up in the pain and anger and hate and resentment and waiting. We're stuck in the past.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, time is moving fast, especially nowadays. But in order to enjoy life, in order to move forward, in order to grow that inner child of yours, you're detaching and you're understanding how you want to be different because we are different and our children are different.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what was the thing that shifted everything for me. It was the day that I stopped expecting. Because
Beautiful.
what makes the hurt so much is expectations. We expect them,
Expectations equals failure.
yeah, we expect them to show up the way we need. And they keep not doing this. And then we keep breaking on the same rock. So the day I lowered my expectations, that's the day the resentment finally had room to drain.
Okay.
So let's give the women something to hold. Let's talk about how. What do we actually do with all of this?
Yes. Well, one of the things I really want to tell every woman, stop expecting something from your mom, from your dad, from your parents. Stop thinking that they can change for you. They won't. I use metaphor as a vanilla sandwich. With the vanilla inside, on the left hand side, we have our upper generation, our parents, grandparents, who's still alive, who's not changing, who came with the old beliefs, who came with the old wounds, and who did their best they can. And on the right side, we have our children, who are much different, who don't want to go by the rules and obey, who don't understand the belief system that our parents have. And then vanilla is us. So
Hmm.
we have to be sweet to our parents and show our children that they can be different by
Hmm.
allowing them to have a choice. We didn't have a choice. We were told what to do. We must do it. We had a fear. We were afraid to do anything. And then we collapsed. But we're giving our children a choice.
Yeah, this is good because
Vanilla.
someone that's watching this right now and still angry, still aching for a mother's approval that she may never get. She
Yes.
doesn't need a lecture. That woman just needs the first step that she can take tonight. So
Gratitude.
that's exactly where I'm heading. You're reading my mind. Absolutely. Because when a woman is still angry, she's still aching for that approval, the first thing is gratitude. Can
Mhm.
you explain that more? Gratitude for what?
Yes, a lot of times the women come in and believe me, at one time when they said be grateful, I'm like, grateful for what? Small things. Number
Yeah.
one, that you have a life. Your mom did not abort you. Your mom did not give you away. Your mom tried to do her best. And if your mother yourself, you know, some pregnancies are very difficult. The labor itself is difficult. The first year of giving birth is difficult. And nowadays, we don't have those breast pumps as we used to have before. And she still did her best. She showed up. Have she failed? Maybe, but she did her best. Just for that,
Yeah.
be grateful. Just for that, that she gave you life. She gave you a choice of living on this earth.
Yeah. And you know, when you're in pain, gratitude can feel impossible. And I've come to believe that depression and ungratefulness live close together. Because when I coach women that are not in a good mood or they're dealing with depression, life story, and the first question I ask, give me something you're grateful for, they always say I have nothing to be grateful for. But if you really dive in, when we have nothing that we can find to be grateful for, that's when we start sinking. So we start here,
Absolutely.
even small, even very small, even if it's just I woke up. That word gratitude, just so important. And it's so practical because that's where life shifts. And I've seen this with my own eyes. I work with so many different women, and I know that you also work with young women who had completely given up on life, who
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to be here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you gave her was that so simple and almost sound very, very too simple gratitude,
Gratitude.
morning and night.
Morning and night. 5 things which you're grateful for. Find it.
Well,
Look
start with
around
one. Start with one. You don't have to start five. Start with one, but do it consistently.
consistently. And that have shifted tremendously. Within a month, shifted tremendously.
Yeah, and I love it because we both lead with gratitude. So, why is the first thing, even when women feel that those women are not grateful for, why do me and you still push for gratitude? What's in it that actually shifts everything?
Well, because every trauma that's been in our life, we've turned into purpose. Every pain that we went through show us a lesson.
Hmm.
We had an ability and the strength to go back. As much as we try to accuse and be and blame, we did not give up to find the other side of the coin. We pushed and pushed with anger that we had inside because we knew deep inside there was something else than pain, the struggle. And that's become gratitude. And you go back and you say, thank you that this happened to me, then I
Yeah,
wouldn't be here today. And that's when the gratitude come in. When you take the pain and you turn into the purpose.
yeah, I love it. And if anything from what we're saying actually resonates with you and touches a tender place in you right now, and if you ever felt this kind of darkness, I want you to hear me. You're not too far gone and you're not
Mhm.
alone. Please reach
Absolutely.
out to someone you trust. It could be a professional, it could be someone that knows your story, but someone that doesn't also. Someone who can just hold you properly because healing is real and so is help. And doing it alone sometimes may feel impossible. And the deep tool underneath all of it, the one that took me the longest to learn, is letting go of what we keep expecting others to give us. And we touched on it earlier, but I want to open this in a different way. We said expectations, it's a quiet thief. And I use this to compare to why does she get the time, the attention, the softness, but I don't, right? Just like you said, especially if we have a friend whose mom have done all that we expected our mom to do. So comparison and expectation together will keep you bleeding forever. The day
Absolutely.
I released it, everything downstream changed. How I show up with my children, for myself, for my friends, and even for my clients. And we both name expectations as the thing that keeps us with the pain. So, how does releasing the expectations of our parents changes everything downstream?
Mhm. Instead of us saying why they're not doing it or why another person have it and I don't, I said, how can I make myself better?
Hmm.
What can I give myself and what can I do for myself? Be kind to yourself is the most important thing that we need to do to ourselves. Our mind, our thoughts create a story, and that story destroys us completely. We gain weight, we become lazy, we have no motivation, we have no energy to move forward. Only one thought and the story that we create in our life. So the way you think, the way that second voice we have, the way we think about ourselves is completely destroys us. So we have to learn to be kind to ourselves because as growing up, we've heard you're not good enough. Look at her. Look how you eat, how you act. I need you to be this. I need you to be that. So this is what we've heard. And we bash ourselves by thinking we're not good enough. But as long as we change that one thought and how we speak, we change the energy around us. And it helped me a lot, the books that I read, the journaling that I did. And I'm giving the tools to all the women that you could start at least changing how you think about yourself,
Yeah,
looking yourself in the mirror and just accept yourself of who you are. Then start comparing yourself because we're all individuals. We're all different. We're all unique in our own way.
yeah. So when you actually stop waiting for them to fill the cup, you finally pick it up yourself.
And pour your cup the way you want it, with the water, with the
Yeah.
coffee, with the milk, with the juice, with the soda. It's yours to choose.
So the woman that can pour her own cup can actually parent differently because she
Absolutely.
loves differently. She breaks the cycle without even announcing it.
Well, one
And
of the things, yeah, one of the things I want to stay on that expectation, then you don't expect anything from your children.
yeah,
When you stop expecting from your parents, you don't expect anything from your children. You give
yeah,
them a choice. You know, you give them your best and you let them be themselves,
right.
not to be perfect, but to be yours.
Yeah. And there's a fear that lives in every woman who's ever started doing this work. The fear that keeps us awake at 3 o'clock in the morning because we're thinking, am I just going to be like her? Am I just going to repeat her mistakes? Am I going to do to my children exactly what was done to me? And I'll tell you that I've come to believe that the very fact that you're asking this question is the proof that you're already breaking the cycle. Because the mothers who wounded us, they don't stay awake at night thinking about it. Your awareness is your breaking point, and that's the point that you break that chain. So, how do we become the mothers that we ourselves needed, Oksana?
Well, one of the things I just want everyone to know, you're doing your best. You're doing your best as what you know, what you have comprehended from where you were growing up. If you want to be better, stop judging your mom or your grandmother or whoever raised you. Some kids are growing up with their grandparents and their aunts. Stop judging them, stop expecting them, stop gossiping about them, and start asking yourself, how do I want to be better?
Right.
We all heard when we were growing up, our mother said to us, wait till you have your own daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You will understand and you will feel. What I tell my children right now, wait till you have your child. I want you to be different than me. Learn from what I couldn't give you, and you give your child.
Yeah.
Parenting is not easy, especially in today's world, but you can do your best of understanding the role of a mother, understanding the role of a child. Understand that's the learning, this is the healing, this is the, and now to today's day, there is a lot of information is open for all of us. Just
Yeah.
have to seek and you will find.
Yeah. Because you are the role model, right? So be like one. Your
Mhm.
children will not remember the perfect words you said, they will remember who you are. So the healing that you're doing right now in real time, that is the inheritance you're going to leave them. That is
Absolutely.
what you're handing down instead of the wound. And also, I want to give the very last word to the woman who needed this most, the one that's still sitting in her pain right now. There's a woman watching us right now who is in so much pain, acknowledgement of what she's going through. And on top of the pain, she judging herself for being what she is. She thinks that she could have been elsewhere. She should have been further along. She thinks that her struggle makes her weak or broken or bad mother. So to the woman listening right now who is in real pain and judging herself for it, what do you want her to walk away knowing?
Well, one of the things when I went to Tony Robbins' event, he says one thing that shook my mind. He said, life don't go against you. Life is for you. And I couldn't understand it at the time, but as I start learning, I start understanding that the first thing, whoever is listening to me right now, write down the things you don't like in your life
Mm.
and then transfer it into the positivity.
Yeah.
And just where you are right now, because a lot of times we keep giving the stories in our mind and keep saying, well, what if I would have married this guy? Or what if I did this? So we're bashing ourselves and it's an ongoing cycle in our mind. I really want everyone to write down what they don't like in their life.
Yeah.
Start with negative, identify the negativity and then transform into positivity. If you can't, a lot of people can't, use ChatGPT. Send me
Mm.
a message, I will help you. And then start practicing and say it out loud in front of the mirror. And then you start believing that you don't have anything wrong, not as bad as you think you have.
Yeah. And here's where I want to leave you with. You didn't choose the home that you were raised in. You didn't choose the love you were given or the love that maybe you weren't given, but you are choosing what happens now. And that is everything. And I say that to every client I coach. It is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And the mother who couldn't love you the way you needed, she gave you something anyway, even if she never meant to. She showed you exactly who you don't want to be. And you look at that, take that, and turn it into your power. And that is not a small thing. That is the framework that you will do for a lifetime. The cycle doesn't end when she finally changes. So don't expect your parent to change. That cycle ends only when you change. It doesn't end when she apologizes, because she will never apologize or understands you or becomes who you needed her to become. That cycle ends when you do. The cycle ends with you. And if this actually touched something in you, do two things for me. First, type worthy, because you are worthy. Not because you've earned it, but because you always been. You just refuse to see it. And the second thing, if you're really ready to begin with this work, let me walk you through this path. Let Oksana walk you through this path. Set a call with us. We'll help you. We both have free groups. We both have outside coaching, and we will both be so happy to help you through this.
You're not alone.
Oksana, thank you so much. Thank you for your heart,
Thank you.
your wisdom, and for being the woman who just turned her pain into a lighthouse for others.
Thank you.
Tell
Thank you
everyone
so
where
much.
they can find you and where they can learn more about you.
I do have an Instagram called Oksana Kats. Also a group on the Telegram, which is free. Just send me that you're interested. I will send you the invitation. The group for the youngsters is by invite, because I want to make sure that people are there really want to learn. It's not about the gossip. It's not about putting anyone down. It's understanding the energy and the patterns that we comprehend and moving forward. And I will leave you all the information so you could link it in the comments for others, people
Yeah, we'll leave all the
to
information in the
follow.
comments. And to every woman who stayed with us until the end, you are not the pain that was handed to you. You are the one who's brave enough to actually stop it and to set it down. Heal deeply, live boldly, because you are unbreakable you. Thank you guys. See you soon.
Thank you so much.